also another thing too that I want to say. This is like almost like a black woman phenomenon. Right, while we're on this fucking topic, who are the bitches that got the most to say that will brag about fighting dudes and do dumb shit like this? It's nigger bitches. Every time it's nigger bitches. 9 out of 10 times it's nigger bitches. Because they're monkeys, because they are monkeys. We could still shoot you in the back of the head. Try me, you fat black bitch. I won't be able to miss your fat ass.
Man, that intro never gets old. I tell you what, man. I tell you what. That intro never gets old. But with that being said, you already know what it is, man. We are back here to Source No Game on the Ground from Hunger Hounds. We just got the pound and are ready for the next round. So with that being said, make sure you grab your snacks, your drinks, your weed, whatever the fuck the case may be, and we are going to jump into this episode. Y'all guys can see the title of this episode, just live, this topic, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Jesse, we're going to check it out. Jesse on Fire, FITX Fearless, and Andrew Tate. So the Jesse on Fire video, we're going to be looking at something that he covered, you know, with the whole USAID fraud shit, which I'm curious because I don't know about y'all, but I'm curious to see how deep this fraudulent shit is going. Like, as an American citizen, bro, you should be pissed. You should be angry. You should be ready to go riot in the streets because of the shit that Doge, led by Elon Musk, is exposing in the government, where all your damn tax money has gone. You should be ready to go riot in front of these corrupt ass politicians' houses. That's how pissed you should be. So we're gonna jump into this, man. Let me go ahead and get this pulled on up real quick. Boom. And then boom, just like that. Alright. So let's jump into this, man. We're going to check out the USAID with Jesse on Fire first.
Watching the game, but listen. I think today Donald Trump is going to sign an executive order banning black people from halftime. Because you remember last week we were talking about...
Listen to that, okay? We got much more important stuff to talk about this video, but this is what you're dealing with still, okay? Still on these people are losing their mind. Like, I could tell this is not just like an act for her. And there's a bunch of clapping seals. Yay, awesome. You're like, Donald Trump's gonna ban black people from the halftime show? What does that even mean? Like, where is she go? Where are you going with that, dude? I would go look up the clip, but I don't care enough because I know it's going to be something really, 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 really stupid, okay? So anyway, that's our intro for this video, and let's get into some actual important stuff. Like you quickly clicking subscribe on this video, liking the video, and then ringing the bell. I dare you guys to try to say quickly clicking subscribe. This USAID thing more because as more has come out, the reality of what this is way, way, way more insane than I think people realize. And the fact that anyone in the public that is currently still pushing back against this is under like mind control. It's as simple as that. And I realize that most of you guys already know that, but I'm talking, if you're watching this and you still are harboring some kind of idea that what's happened here with USAID is some kind of thing that you should be pushing against, you are not watching true coverage of what is going on.
You are not in your right mind if that's what you're still pushing against. Come on, bro. Like, let's be real. These people are retarded. Pure retardation if you are still pushing against cutting the funding from USAID and all this other shit.
It's that simple, okay? It's that simple. You need to expand your source of information, and you need to start learning about what's going on, because every American citizen should be behind this, unless you are like in this group of tiny, tiny people who have rigged the entire system to work to support interests that have nothing to do with you. They're taking your money and they're supporting their own interests. We're not even talking about the United States interests. We're talking about the World Bank interests. As a matter of fact, I'm going to let Tim Pool say something here, and then we're going to get into more of this because we're going to go deep on this video. We're also going to talk about Joe Rogan and the Kamala Harris campaign, because this thing just keeps on getting funnier and funnier. Where like the Kamala Harris campaign is trying to lie about all this stuff. Oh, well, we did this. Rogan's like, hey, remember when you guys used to just be able to tell lies in the media and no one's going to call you on it? You have no power now, dude. Like, and even if you did, I'm still going to call you out. Every single thing that you've just said is a lie. Like, you just making things up, dude. Like, he's just lying. All those things he said about interacting with me and my team, none of that happened. So, no. It is glorious, okay? And here's the deal. Here's what you're actually looking at right now. The single greatest coup in maybe, like, human history, okay? Because you're talking about a total revolution right now. That's what this is, and I'm just seeing it. This is actually going to happen, right? Like, I wasn't sure. You know, you elected Trump. You don't really know what's going to happen. But now you are seeing why it absolutely needed to happen, but more so that it is happening. And like, what the...
You know, I ain't gonna lie. Last night, I was listening to Trump talking while I was taking care of some stuff. And I paused for a second to listen to him talking. And while he's talking, I'm just sitting to myself and I'm like, damn, I am fucking happy that he is back in office. Because he just don't give a shit. He's going to run the country the way it needs to be ran. He's going to get it back on track the way it's supposed to be. And he does not care whose feelings get hurt in the process. And that's why everybody voted for him.
Actual implications of this are, and it's as big as you could have thought it was bigger. All right, now listen to what Tim Pool says about what USAID was doing, and just as like a little bit of context for those who have not been paying close attention. This fund was sending money to these insane things, and here's another really big part of what they were doing. Okay, the people who controlled it were sending billions of dollars to one place, and that place would turn it around and then send it back to the people who were in charge of sending the money. Okay, it was just black and white theft. They're just stealing our money. Okay? And there are a million examples that we could give of that's exactly what the government was doing. The reason that we are in the debt that we're in now is directly due to exactly what's being uncovered in USAID, and we're going to get into that very, very much in this video, but listen to what Tim Pool says right here.
Oh, understanding what USAID does, and that there was an effort, at least to some degree in the first Trump administration, to break it apart. Mm-hmm. Now, put that in the context of Democrats saying he's going to dismantle our government. What they were talking about is this international operation of the U.S. overthrowing unfavorable governments to expand U.S. I don't even want to say U.S. I would say like Western. I don't even want to say Western. I guess you'd call it what cabal. I don't know. How do you refer to it? I mean, these people don't represent American interests. They don't represent the interests of France or Germany.
They represent the interests of the World Bank and NATO.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that they are tied to, and everything they do, their entire mission is to align with the World Bank and NATO. Anything that does not align with that becomes enemy number one.
Bingo. Okay, now think about that. Okay, just think about that just for a second. Just what you just said. Okay, the World Bank is a financial institution, right? It's a financial institution. Now they're saying NATO, but I'm talking more World Bank, right? And honestly, NATO also, because what does the United States provide that to the World Bank and to NATO that they can't provide for themselves? All right? Like, if you really think about, like, what do they provide? They provide the military. Okay? The U.S., the way this was working in its most boiled down form is we made sure that the U.S. dollar was the reserve trade currency that people were using to trade for oil and carbon, fossil fuels, etc., right? Which is what's needed to run the world. As long as that is based on the U.S. dollar, we control everything, okay? So that's how we control people economically, and then the United States has the military so that they can go in and do whatever they want because no one can stand up to us if we ever want to push that button, okay? So the World Bank is they're the beneficiaries of these things, right? The World Bank and their cronies and friends, right? Like the United States is supposed to be collecting money from citizens, and then we're supposed to be using that money to better the lives of our citizens. That's what America First is about. It's not to, the United States is not meant to collect our tax dollars, inflate our budget in everywhere so that all these interests that have control over where the money goes and intentionally control the fact that no one can track where any of the money goes. Okay? And they send it all over the place, all over the world for their own interests that help no one in the United States except themselves. Okay? It was black and white theft. So the World Bank used...
Indeed. And hearing that now, like hearing it explained that way, makes me all the more grateful for the great work that Elon Musk is doing, appointed by Trump, to expose government fraud. There's 100% facts.
Used us, our military, to enforce their ends all over the world. I mean, if you really simplify it down like that, like if you ask me, hey, we've got $100 left, right, for our family. We got $100 left for our family. Should we buy food so we can eat, or should we spend $100 on a hitman to go like attack these people over here, and maybe we'll get some money over there, but like most likely, even if we get some money over there, it's going to go to like this other interest over here that has nothing to do with our family. You're like, I think I'm going to buy food. They're like, I think what we actually should do is we should pay $700 to the hitman. Okay. You could keep that $100, even though that's all you have for your family. Maybe you could like do on 60. How about 60? You take that 40, and then we're going to put this over here, and then we're going to borrow $700. We're going to pay that hitman. He's going to go attack that family. He's going to magically somehow figure out a way to send 400 to me, this advisor of yours. And, you know, the $700 obviously is going on your tab. Like, you're going to owe that 700, but he's going to get 300 of it. I'm going to get 400 of it. He may or may not kill this person over here. That may or may not. It definitely won't benefit you, but it will probably benefit me if it works out. But it doesn't really matter because it's not my money anyway. Okay, like that is literally what you were looking at. It's unbelievable. And when you get into the details of this thing, it's like, it's literally the biggest scandal of all time, and they're just getting started. What do you think is going to happen when they start auditing the Pentagon?
Dude, the Pentagon, the IRS, the fucking school system. I can only imagine how many corrupt politicians have actually, like, insanely fattened their pocket through the IRS. I can only imagine, bro. Shit would be crazy to see.
Or the defense budget. You understand that the Pentagon has failed every single audit that they have ever had. As a matter of fact, let me show you a clip about that. All right, so let's just put this conversation in perspective. And let's hear like the government side of this story of why it's cool that we give $850 billion to the Pentagon every year and no one has any idea where that money goes. And we just are like, oh, okay, there's no reason to do a further investigation here because it's definitely not intentional.
Do you feel like these are unfair questions of somebody within a department of that size and scope?
I
Do you feel that it's somewhat unfair?
you have a particular thing you really want to talk about and you're asking me other questions, but I don't think it's unfair to ask me about the audit. It's absolutely the case that the United States military should be able to pass an audit, and we've got to be on that pathway to get there.
Okay, so obviously she is the one who is going to be defending why, nothing to see here. She starts off good. We should be able to pass an audit, okay? But really there's no big problem here. So now you know she's the government person, obviously.
But don't you think that does speak to the larger point that we're trying to get at, which is good journalism uncovers corruption? And
Okay, I mean, good journalism does uncover corruption, but I'm not sure these two things are linked. An audit is not.
But they are.
Okay, so you need to explain to me, do you understand what an audit does and the degree to which it is linked to the question that you're asking?
I believe so.
Okay, go ahead. Give me your explanation.
Oh, that's a cute tactic, dude. Okay, I love people who use like debate tactics. Okay, I love that. I think it's a really excellent demonstration of intelligence as opposed to cheap parlor tricks to make it look like you're smarter than people. Okay, well, I mean, good journalism and corruption and fraud, I don't see any connection there. He's like, he's like, I think we just need good media to uncover that. So, come on. Us paying the media to not cover anything like that has nothing to do with this. As a matter of fact, you know what? Why don't you just what do you even think that like an audit is supposed to uncover, John? Well, a bunch of break down what you think an audit is. You're like, bitch, why don't you tell us what you think a fucking audit is, okay? An audit is simple. We see what you're spending money on to see if it is okay stuff to be spending money on, okay? And where is money going to see if anyone is stealing it. You need to be able to source every fucking dollar that goes anywhere. Like, this is such an idiotic thing to try to explain to us because everyone knows what an audit is, okay? I mean, maybe W-2 employees that have only had a W-2 their entire life, they don't know, you know, they're like, well, I think audits are bad, and like, sounds like people look through your finances. But business owners all know someone's going to come in and they're going to go line item by line item, and they're going to check to make sure you're not cheating on your taxes or committing fraud or any of that other stuff, right? Every dollar. Remember, government wanted to know every time we spent more than $600 on Venmo, right? Because you have to make sure this or that. She's like, tell me what an audit is, John. Jeez. She's already pissing me off. This isn't even like the beginning.
Hell no, bro. I think there should be no taxes on the people, period. And when I say on the people, I mean sending money, receiving money, earning money, whatever. If you're buying stuff, sure, why not have a tax, like a flat tax? But to send money, to receive money, to earn money, there should be no tax at all. None whatsoever. And I think if there is tax, it should be voluntarily. You should be able to have the option to opt in for paying taxes or opt out of paying taxes whenever you want to. And I think that if you do want to opt into paying taxes, there should be, you know, some benefits that come with it, like cheaper health care that actually works to your benefit. Cheaper, you know, like health insurance, dental insurance, whatever the case may be, vision, whatever. I think there should there should be those types of benefits that come with if you choose to opt in to paying taxes. And if you choose to opt out of paying taxes, cool, but you won't get those benefits. That's how I think it should be. Now, that might not, it sounds good talking about it, but I'm sure there's probably some issues that would come along with making it like that. But it would make sense. It makes sense to me if that's how it would be. That's facts.
Of it yet.
No, I don't mind learning. So what I would suggest is that the audit that they have in the military doesn't really look at whether or not there's efficacy. It's just whether they got delivered the thing that they ordered. And
that is any audit. That is any audit. That is true.
But generally, those audits aren't $400 billion for Raytheon and $1.7 trillion for a plane.
That is not any audit. That is a specific type of audit, I guess. You know, okay, so we spent this money here. Did we get the thing? Okay, like, let's do an audit, make sure that we received everything we paid for with these companies. Okay, that's not the audit. We're talking about how they can't explain where $2.1 trillion went right before the September 11th thing. And since then, they failed every single audit. It's not just about whether or not we got delivered the thing. She's all, that's what all of them are. Don't try to fool us, girl.
That doesn't seem to be doing. Like, there is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits and waste, fraud, and abuse are not the same thing. So let's decompose
Then
these
please
pieces.
educate me on
Sure.
what
So an
the
audit is
difference-
exactly what you just described,
Yes.
which is, do I know what was delivered to which place?
Right.
The ability to pass.
That is not the only kind of audit. That is an audit that you would do internally, maybe. Okay? An audit that we would do on you because we're the taxpayers and the money you get is from us, is to make sure that that money is going to causes that align with our values and laws, and that no one is sending $50 billion over here and then having them, you know, pretend that it's for, you know, lesbian line dancing in Afghanistan, and then they turn around and give $49 billion back to the person who greenlit that money. Okay, like, we are auditing to make sure that's also not happening. It has nothing to do with Raytheon. Okay. Like, obviously, if we say we did an audit on you, you can't source $2 trillion in the last, you know, in the one that Rumsfeld talked about. I don't think that has anything to do with we paid Lockheed $500 million for X and we didn't get it. I don't think that is what they're saying. They're saying we can't source $2.1 trillion. I don't know how far back that went. But this is a complete misrepresentation and a lie right out of the gate. That is what your audit was about that specific issue, not what all audits are. That's the only reason anyone audits anything. When the IRS audits your business, they just want to make sure that the things that you paid for are in your inventory. That's all. That's all. Yeah, that's all. Really. So why did they ask for further explanation on this line item right here, just to make sure that it was an actual business expense? Because that seems like that's more of an oversight thing than it is a inventory thing. Ridiculous.
Pass an audit or the fact that the DOD has not passed an audit is not suggestive of waste, fraud, and abuse.
Absurd.
That is completely false right there.
No, it's not.
So
what is
now
it
it's a
suggestive
question of, it's suggestive that we don't have an accurate inventory that we can pull up of what we have where. That is not the same as saying we can't do that because waste, fraud, and abuse has occurred.
So
how would you know? This is the stupidest argument ever. You can't say that waste, fraud, and abuse occurred because all it's saying is we don't know where all of those things we paid for are. You're also, where'd the money go? Well, we don't know. You're also
Waste, fraud, abuse. Right there. Where'd the money go? I don't know. Straight up.
So you know for sure that none of that was waste, fraud, and abuse, you fucking idiot. What are
What did I just say, bro? What did I just say?
you talking about?
so in my world,
Yeah.
that's waste.
How is that waste?
If I give you $1 billion and you can't tell me what happened to it, that to me is wasteful. That means you
Well,
are
we didn't
not
necessarily-
responsible. But if you can't tell me where it went, then what am I supposed to think? And when there has been reporting, I mean, this is not, look, I'm not saying this is on you and that you.
I wouldn't have said it was on her if she wasn't so fiercely defending the most ludicrous position of all time, where I was like, maybe this is on her. Because there's no one that should be wearing a business suit who is stupid enough to think that her argument makes sense.
Who caused this, but I
Well, let's also not forget that she's probably just saying what she was told to say.
think it's
I bet you she probably has some kind of earpiece right now, and somebody's telling her all these different things that she needs to say and respond to in a certain way.
it's a tough argument to
I'm pretty
make
sure I
that
didn't cause it.
an $850 billion
Who is
budget
she?
to an organization that
Deputy
can't
Defense
pass an
Secretary.
audit and tell you where that money went. Like, I think most people would consider that somewhere in the realm of waste, fraud, or abuse, because they would wonder why that money isn't well accounted for. And especially when they see food insecurity on military bases, and they
You want
see
to talk about that? Because that's a good, we should be talking. I mean,
Well,
I'm
it's
trying to
all-
understand
it's-
what.
Oh, I would love to talk about that. $850 billion budget, right? $850 billion budget. Food insecurity in our own bases, right? Hey, remember when people said that Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos could solve world hunger with $50 billion? Remember that? He could solve world hunger with $50 billion. You're all, really? And yet, we spend $850 billion on the current military budget annually. You do understand what annual means. It means every year, right? So $850 billion, and somehow there's not enough food for our soldiers overseas, just overseas, our own soldiers, and we're spending $850 billion on the budget. Now, I realize
The fact that you have an $850, not million, billion-dollar budget, and we have my bad, y'all. We had food insecurity in our military bases, and there's an $850 billion budget. That shit blows my mind. See, before watching this, I didn't even know that the military has an annual budget of $850 billion. $850 billion. That, y'all know how close that is to it? That's 150 billion away from $1 trillion, bro. And you can't even. There was one point in time where you couldn't even have. Or not even couldn't, but you didn't have food for the soldiers on base. or anybody living on base, when you look at it like that, that's the shit that's crazy, bro.
To spend money on a lot of other things, but if you could solve global hunger for 50 billion, why don't you walk me through how you would do that exactly? Fucking morons. Solve global hunger for like what, 5 minutes? Like, what are you talking about? It's ridiculous.
Where you're trying to go, other than the dollars, which really bother you.
I think it doesn't really bother me.
Aside from the dollars that really bothered you, you're all, what are we talking about? Of course, we're talking about the dollars. Yes, that would bother us. That's our money that you guys are pissing away and not telling us where it's going and then acting like we're crazy for asking you where it went.
I mean, I think it's all connected.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called gaslighting. The government gaslights you because they don't want you to know the truth. Because they know that once you know the truth, there is nothing that they would be able to do to stop us all if we all came together and just said fuck you.
Okay.
I think
tell
when
me,
I
tell
look-
me that story. Tell me.
Someone needs to fire her, dude. If she's still, I mean, I don't know if she's still in. Who is this, dude? Well, I double checked. She is still in office. Let's continue this. Let's go.
Tell me how you're thinking
Well,
about that.
when I see a State Department get a certain amount of money and a military budget be 10 times that, and I see a struggle within government to get people like more basic services, and then that department that got that, I mean, we got out of 20 years of war and the Pentagon got a $50 billion raise. Like, that's shocking to me. Now, I may not understand exactly the ins and outs and the incredible magic of an audit, but I'm a human being who lives on the earth and can't figure out how $850 billion to a department means that the rank and file still have to be on food stamps. Like, to me, that's fucking corruption.
That's a dumb argument. Not that I disagree with him, but that's like way down the list from where's the fucking money going, lady? Okay? Do you know what I mean? It's like, yes, I understand that, but I guarantee you that if you went through the actual line items of what we spend on what, I guarantee John Stewart hasn't done that. He doesn't know how much each person gets paid. He doesn't know all that. Like, it's like, and who knows? I don't personally know how far $850 billion goes and all that. But what I'm saying is, like, that's an argument that should be distant down the list from what are you talking about? You don't know where the money's going. It's $850 billion a year. A year. A year. Like, I would ask her, like, so you're saying there's no fraud and abuse going whatsoever. Like, let me ask you an honest question, because you're the deputy director of the Pentagon. So, like, you obviously, you know lots of this stuff, right? Since you're right below the director. So here's my question. How easy would it be for you to steal $50 million? I'm sorry, what? $50 million. $50 million? That'd be pretty easy. Right. Yes, I know. She's like, $50 million. You were talking about $850 billion. She's like, right. But, you're one person. She's like, are you saying that I stole $50 million? Like, no, I'm saying I wouldn't know if you did. I'm saying I would have no idea if you did. Because how the hell would I? Because you don't have to source where any of the money goes. Okay? Does that seem problematic to you? I'm not saying you stole the $50 million. I'm saying that if you can't recognize why it's a problem, that we are the bosses, you work for us, and you can't tell us where any of the money's going, that's a problem. And if you're trying to tell me that's not a problem, then I can't trust anything else that you say.
If you try to sit there and say that that's not a problem, you need to go ahead and jump in a box with a bomb and let that bitch blow up. Straight up. But with that being said, man, I might check out some more of this, whole USAID shit going on with all this corruption and fraud and whatnot. But we're gonna move on to the next topic, which is your boy FITXFEARLESS. So let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Let me refresh this real quick. Okay, there it goes. All right. Says he's
real estate.
He's 21, has 200K saved, but scared to leave mom and dad.
Good money. That kept me busy for a while, but now my social life kind of sucks. I don't really have any interest to go to like the young adult church things I would go to, play pickleball, play basketball. I just have like no enthusiasm about it. It's like not fun to me anymore. And dating kind of isn't that good now. So
wait, hold up. You said how much? You say you got into real estate. What are you doing right now?
I'm still doing real estate.
How much money you making a month?
So last year I made about 65. Year before I made like 80 some. So I got some money in the bank. I'm gonna do a lot of traveling in 2025. Try to make content.
A lot of traveling. How much you got in the bank?
Over 100,000.
Okay, and but you're only making 60 a year.
Yeah, I made like 65 last year.
I would not be going traveling.
Why's that?
you got good savings, but your income isn't high enough.
His income wouldn't be high enough to be able to compensate for the amount that he would be spending doing a whole lot of traveling. There's a difference between saving up to $200K in the bank, making like between $40,000 to $60,000 a year, versus going around doing a lot of traveling and spending that same amount probably within like 2 trips, 3 trips, and depending on how many trips you take a year, that shit would not be good.
Well, I mean, really, I'm just trying to like get out, make content, make videos, try and make that into a business. Have some fun. Like I kind of feel like I'm in a rut, like with where I live at. It's suburbs, so I don't live in a big city, so I can't go on dating apps and meet people that close to me. That's kind of how it is.
1 second, Alexa, turn desk light white.
Okay.
So, maybe you need to move to a
I thought
different
about
city.
it. I've been to Miami probably 5 times, been to Palm Beach a few times. But I don't know. I don't like Miami that much. I don't really like big cities at the same time because of the politics and how expensive they are and just the congestion like on the highways. So.
Shit, you say you got money, hire yourself a personal driver.
So you wait.
That way you ain't got to worry about driving in that.
Wait. You said you think DC is less?
No, I don't live in DC. I live like an hour away in the suburbs from DC.
So you live in the suburbs, but you're in a rut because you can't do nothing, but you don't want to move to a big city. Bro, so what you want me to do? Like, you got to make a decision, bro. You gonna keep being a small town kid, or you gonna decide to go be in a big city and at least give yourself an opportunity to do something that you like?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it really is holding me back. I feel like where I live.
Listen, first of all, this is why I hate fucking small cities, because it shelters your mind. It makes you start thinking very, very small. Like, I think people who live in small cities are incredibly risk averse. Incredibly. So you saved a good amount of money. You saved $100,000, and now you
close to 2, honestly.
Okay, that's a good in savings, but that's not good in the rest of all the areas of your life, bro. You should be trying to improve your income as well as your savings. You're just hoarding money and not utilizing it. The point of money is to utilize it to improve your life, not to hoard it and just, I have money. What the fuck is it? What's the use of money if you're not going to use it? It's income is utility. Use it to improve your life. You can, if you got close to $200,000 saved, use that shit to make more money. Use that shit to improve your life. Not saying you got to go spend a bunch of money acting like a fool, but you damn sure shouldn't be just be traveling. Traveling to do what? How about we position ourselves in a place where we enjoy where we live, okay? And then we can allocate some of that income into improving income. Where do you got the $200,000? Where you got to put it at?
In a Vanguard high yield savings account. I have my grandma died. She left me quite a bit of money, so I have that in a Roth and all that. So that investment side, I've been fortunate to have a lot of money in my retirement already. So.
Okay, so what are you scared of, buddy? You got money. How much you got in the retirement?
85,000.
So you got 85K in retirement, 200K in a high yield savings. Yeah. You earning what, 5% on that a year?
I mean, it varies. I've been in real estate about 3.5 years. I made
I'm saying
1 year, 80 some K 1 year, and then 60 some last year, and about 55 already in 2025.
No. I'm talking about the money you have in the high yield savings. What is your interest on the savings? 5%?
I think 3.65.
Okay, so you're earning around, if you got
$100.
A month?
Yeah, off of that.
So that's quite a bit of money, bro.
Yeah.
So what the fuck are you scared of?
I don't
Now
know,
you-
man. Just like leaving my mom and dad. It's like the only close people I have in my life, you know?
Okay, so you're gonna stick with mom and dad and never grow up. But it's bothering you because you can't do nothing with the money. So like there's no point in just hoarding money, bro. Go put yourself in a position in a place that you actually enjoy, so you can go do stuff, enjoy your life, save money, and invest money. All right. So I mean, you can't even get on a date now. When was the last time you went on a date?
That's tough.
Shoot, man, probably over 6 months ago.
When's the last time you had sex?
Virgin. I want to wait till marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair, but you ain't been on a date in 6 months. The first girl that blow you, the first girl that look your way, you gonna marry her.
And that's how it's been, man. Like I've had girls in the gym show and stuff like that show me interest, and I kind of like got
Just focus on them and not nothing else. Like, come on, bro.
attached to them. Like,
No
sweet,
shit.
you know what I'm saying?
You don't have any options.
I
of
know.
course.
I know. It's bad.
Guys, this is a perfect example of why money alone will not solve your problems. You have to utilize money so you can better your life. Right now, you're in a position where you're a virgin because of choice. However, you're not dating and you're not happy where you live.
Yeah.
What's the point of the money?
I'm
And
in
then-
shape too. You want a physique check?
I mean, sure, but I mean, it ain't solving the rest of you not improving your life. How tall are you?
5'11".
Okay,
This dude wanted to take his shirt off, bro. He's gay. This dude is gay. He brought up this dude's gay. There's no way that you would bring up, hey man, you want to see my body? Like, he's gay. Straight up. Fucking faggot.
you're 5'11", you're in decent shape. You got over $200,000 saved, but you risk averse.
Yeah.
You gotta stop being scared, buddy. You gotta go take some risk.
And that's why I want to travel too, because like I'm kind of like afraid to like I don't know, man. It's just like that's who I am. I'm a naturally like
Introvert.
I guess not risky kind of guy.
Gotcha.
I feel like traveling kind of get me to experience and just do something I like for a little while and try and make it into a business.
Okay, so you want to travel as a business?
Yeah, make YouTube videos and stuff like that.
Where do you want to go?
So I already booked my flight for March 4th. I'm going to Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
For
And so what
2
is
weeks.
the content? What kind of content you gonna be making in Portugal?
It's gonna be vlogging content. I may do some interviews too. Kind of thought about like meeting like a woman and taking her back to like the hotel, doing an interview, something like that. Because
What sense does that make?
guys click on that, man. Guys watch that stuff. You put a woman in the thumbnail and they click.
Oh Lord. So you don't even know what the fuck kind of content you're gonna be. You're gonna just bring girls back to you.
That's like, if you don't already have a poppin' ass YouTube channel, bro, and you put a nobody female on there, or even a nobody period, whether it's a dude or a female, guess what? Nobody's gonna watch it because you don't have it. This is the thing, bro. Is you gotta build that foundation first. You gotta get it going before you can really start doing content like that. Now you can start off small doing that, you know, maybe like people in your area or whatnot, but you got to build that foundation first. Otherwise, you're just going to be wasting more money than you're making right now. You got to build that foundation on that channel. Otherwise, it won't work.
I thought
No, I'm
you.
gonna make vlogs.
Because even though you have money, that money don't mean that you're famous.
Vlogging content, cinematic content. I already have a couple cameras that I've bought. I did interviews back at University of Maryland like 2 years ago, and it just got boring. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I mean, maybe traveling is going to be helpful for you, but I'd be careful just bringing girls back to your spot, especially if you're a virgin. You gonna fuck them, or you just gonna talk to them there in the apartment?
Yeah, probably just talk to him, but I don't know.
Listen, stop being risk averse. Utilize some of that money to improve your life. All right. I don't think traveling is gonna solve your problems. I think you need to start. You need to change where you currently live. Start putting in some effort so you're happy where you are, and then traveling is something that you can do on your pastime. Okay.
Okay, sounds good, man.
Listen. Before I let you go, if you would like some help in terms of strategies that are good, with your dating life, and you want to see if I can give you a step by step, right? I'm gonna post a link for you in the chat.
Okay, appreciate you. Now, I think the first thing is just getting to have the fish in the sea, getting to have the options, and then going from that point,
Yeah, that's the best place to be, bro. All right.
All right, man. I appreciate you. You have a good night.
All right, man.
God bless.
All right, man.
Bye.
Peace.
Interesting. This is why money is not going to make you famous. You have to build the foundation for your channel, whether it's on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. You got to build the foundation of your account. You have to start building it up from the bottom. I mean, I don't think y'all understand the amount of work that goes. It's like building a house all by yourself. Not even a house. It's like building a neighborhood or a city, a small town, a small city, by yourself with your bare hands. You're leveling out the ground that you're going to build on. Then you got to measure out the foundation. Then you have to lay down the foundation. You also have to make sure that the foundation is level. Then you have to start building the border of the house. You got to start putting that together. You got to start building the frame of the house. You got to start putting that together, whether it's brick or wood. Then you got to make the insulation. Then you got to make the inside walls. You got to make the ceiling, the floors, all the different rooms, the electrical work, the windows, the plumbing, all the piping and stuff. That's what it's like building a social media account from the bottom up. And I guarantee you, anybody who grew up rich, who who was born into a rich family, would not have the patience and dedication that it takes to build a channel from the ground up. From the ground up. I mean, it's like building a skyscraper or a penthouse by yourself. That's what it's like. And I don't know if that kid has the patience to do it, has the dedication to do it. I don't think he understands the amount of time and actual work sitting here, recording videos, editing videos, live streaming, whatever. How much time it takes on your hands to do so. I mean, it's crazy. I do it every single day, and I'm still working on it. But I do it pretty much every single day. And it takes a large chunk of my time. A large chunk. My days are filled with nothing but work. Work, work, work. I don't think that kid understands it. He might get it, but I don't think that he right now, I don't think he understands it. It's not something he can just flip a camera on, start recording, upload a video, and start getting like 200-300 followers in the first day. That's not how it works. But with that being said, let's get into the last topic of the night, which is your boy Andrew Tate, the top G.
All of that energy you give away. Are the people you are watching thinking of you? Are they thinking of your name? You are failing yourself. There is a finite amount of human soul on the planet, and I have the soul of at least 50,000 men because they have given it to me. This is why when I speak, you feel it. 80 men's bodies I destroyed in the ring and stole their happiness forever. They'll never forget the day I beat them. The rest of the soul was given to me via the envy of peasants I've told you the basic framework. You've heard it before. The law of attraction. But nobody has the truth besides me. I live it and I prove it. I am saving the intricacies for students willing to learn. If you want to learn the true secrets of universal life force, how to steal the souls of other men and become more powerful than ever before, you can read thewarroom.ag. I will test you, because I cannot teach everyone, and I need peasants to steal from. There is no light without dark, no joy without pain. There's no brilliance without mediocrity. I need people to lose so I can win. The masses of average, unimportant men are the feeding grounds for the elite few, the worms for the birds. They exist unhappy so I can know joy. This is how the world works. Have you ever seen one of those men who walks into the room and everyone stares even though he isn't doing anything? He is full to the brim of life force. And the empty vessels around him naturally gravitate to his power. That is why people cannot stop staring. He grows even more powerful as they stare at him. Look at all exchanges in life as energy transfers, especially arguments. You want to sit and argue with your woman for the next 3 hours, screaming at her for acting a fool. She owes you energy. She better give you the most aggressive blowjob you could think of. She owes you energy. And I will teach you how this works. I will teach you how to win at life. I will teach you how to be hated and discussed and admired on the lips of every single person on the planet. The law of attraction on cocaine. If you want to learn, go to thewarroom.ag. This will go over some of your heads. Not all of you are ready for this. Not all of you are going to understand what I'm saying. But those of you whose minds are ready to be freed will know that this makes absolutely perfect sense. It is impossible for human beings to eat food and consume calories and to use those calories thinking of your name and for their body heat and their electromagnetic vibrations to be emitted out into the universe and for you to not absorb the ones that have your name on it to become stronger than you've ever been. That is physically impossible. I'll argue with any physicist. I will argue with any physicist that if 100 people are in a room thinking of my name, I am physically stronger. I've experienced it. This is why I only win. Because envy is the highest form of vibration. People look at my life and they see. They can't stand me. He's so big and he's rich and he's strong and he's accused of human trafficking, but all the important people still like him. And he made this video and look at this girl. And nobody cares. Everyone loves Tate. It's the Tate show. And they sit angry, bitter. And I win. So I poke them. I make them angry on purpose so that I can win even more. Like squeezing the juice from an orange. Most of you at home do not have men envious of you. If I saw your life, I would not envy it. I don't want to be you. I would feel unimportant and poor if I was you. But if people were envious of you, don't you remember that feeling when you were a child? Having the toy that everyone else wanted? Don't you remember that feeling inside of you when you had the toy the other kids wanted and you wouldn't give it to them? Don't you remember how powerful you felt?
I remember a couple of instances when it comes to like electronics and stuff. You know, I remember I had my iPhone 4. I had one of my homeboys would always ask me to play Minecraft on it all the time. I think that's about the only time I ever felt like that. Other than that, I was always the one who didn't have the toy that every kid wanted or had the game or the toy. I was always one who didn't have the toy that every kid wanted or the game console that every kid wanted. I was one of those kids that wanted those toys or wanted those game consoles. I never had them myself.
That's how I feel every day. And you don't get to feel that way because nobody wants what you have. And nobody wants to be you. Because you can't do anything and you don't have anything which is unique and fantastic and valuable. You need to understand these things. And strength is one of the core tenets to elicit envy. I'm not envious of Bill Gates. He has more money than me, but he's a fat old nerd. I don't care. I will grab him, but I've told you about the strength in my hands. I can't be envious of something I could easily crush. Without strength, no man will ever envy you. So it's not only about creating your life to remove the weak links. It's about preparing yourself and putting yourself in a position where you can elicit envy. Let's once again analyze this tweet. And this time I'm going to add context to each point because it's extremely important. I understand now I'm only speaking to 10% of my audience. Ask yourself, perhaps you don't believe this. You can log off, you can go. But for the 10% of you who believe what I am telling you, who understand how it feels to have other men jealous of you, who remembers how it feels to walk into the club with the hot girl and everyone stares at her and then stares at you and is jealous, who knows how it feels to drive past in a Lambo, to drive past the bus stop in a Lamborghini and watch everybody stare wishing their lives were different, to get the promotion when everyone else in the company didn't get a promotion. And they're furious and they're faking that they're happy for you. Well done, you deserve it. You remember? Do you know, have you ever experienced that feeling? Imagine feeling that every single day. We're going to talk about this again. For those of you who understand, this is one of the most important emergency meetings I've ever done. The energy of people can be stolen from them. How do you steal people's energy? Now, what's very important about emergency meetings is I give you energy. This is a net negative for me. I have so much energy built up from all of these haters that I have some surplus that I can give you energy. I haven't read a single comment. I don't know what any of you are saying. I am giving you energy because at the end of this show, you will feel more powerful. Not me, you. Which is why you can never miss an emergency meeting. It's why they are so important. It's one of the only places you can come and get refilled with energy as opposed to giving your energy out. All the rest of the time on the internet, you're watching things and giving your energy away. I'm giving you some. And you know that's true. Because when this show is over, you'll feel motivated. So let me ask you, if you feel motivated after this show, doesn't that prove everything I just said about energy transfer is absolutely real? You can no longer deny anything I'm about to say to you because it's been conclusively proven and you have felt it yourself. If you make somebody angry so that they think about you while you refuse to think they're mad at you, it is very important that you ignore them.
What the hell?
You blink and cure your brain. There are thousands of people right now on Twitter who are going through my entire life trying to slander me and keep typing my name out into the universe. And I don't give a... And I don't read it. And I don't know who they are. And I never will. I will let them post endlessly the name Tate so I can grow powerful while I ignore them and do emergency meetings. That's why I'm going to win. Because they are giving me power. Haters are feeding me. 10 million people I've never heard of say my name each day. Probably more. This is immensely powerful. Electromagnetic vibrations I can detect and absorb. You can't say the name Tate without me feeling it. It's like everyone just flicking pennies into the air and they all land in my bank. Everybody knows a guy who's just lucky. Remember in high school there was that guy who just seemed lucky. But everyone liked him. Everyone talked about him. Everybody looked at him while he walked. Remember him? The lucky guy? You never knew a lucky guy who nobody paid attention to, did you? You've never seen a guy who was ignored, who nobody paid attention to and nobody talked about, who was also very lucky. It seems to be only the guy who was discussed all the time and had everyone's attention was lucky. Now, is that a coincidence? Is it causation? Is it correlation? Is it the fact that he's only lucky because he is discussed? Because he is admired? That's what gave him his luck. It is amazing to me that everybody knows a guy who is lucky, but nobody considers why. Nobody sits and says, this guy is lucky. Why is he lucky? The whys are the missing element to society today. Tate is so famous. Why? Everyone talks about the first point, including my haters. Everyone knows Tate, and all these kids listen to him, and he's bad. Why am I so famous?
See, here's the thing, though. Even though whenever they're saying all that, guess what? They are still talking about you. They're still saying your name. They're still spreading your name, whether it's good or bad, which means other people who haven't heard of you before or have heard about you and don't care are going to go back to caring. Because they will go home and they will look up whatever it is that they said about you and see if it's real or not. But regardless, they're still looking you up. That's what y'all gotta understand, man. It's the people who sit around and say, oh man, haters of this, haters of that. They're just fans giving off a different type of support. At the end of the day, they are just mad because they don't have your direct attention. I know. I mean, when we were all younger, we used to, be a fan of somebody or have a favorite YouTuber or celebrity or whatever that you'd be trying to talk to, whether it was on Instagram or whatever, and they ignore you, whatever the case may be, and then you just start sending hate shit for no reason other than to get their attention. I know. I used to be one of those little shitheads when I was like 12, 13 years old. I know that from personal experience. You're just a fan giving off a different type of support. And then whenever you finally get their attention, you're all happy again. Like, hey, he responded to me. That's literally what happened to me when I was young. I was like, dang, bro, he finally responded to me. And when I look back, I was like, damn, bro, I was really a Keisha back then. But I was just like 12, 13 years old. So you would expect behavior like that from a kid. But still, I was like, damn, bro, he finally responded to me type shit. Then I was happy again. And I supported him again. But but it's when grown men do that is when it becomes crazy. But we've all been a hater for no reason other than to get the attention of the person that we're supposedly hating on. It's just a fan giving off a different type of support.
Famous. Is it because you're posting about me? Is it because you are eating food and bought an iPhone and pay an electricity bill so you can post about me? Is that why I'm so famous? I don't even know who you are. You're complaining that I'm famous and you don't want it to be true, but you're not smart enough to analyze why I'm famous.
You're complaining about very small, minuscule, but contributing factor as to why he's famous. There's a fact. And I don't know why my damn stream just fucking froze. There we go. But you complaining about him being famous is a very small, minor, minuscule contributing factor as to why he's famous.
As you spend your money and your time making everybody know my name. Work it out. How does he force the universe to provide so consistently? Well, my superpower is simple. It is very easy for me to make people envious of me. And when men are envious, they disguise it as hate. This is why men pretend to not like me. This is why men, false virtue garbage, pretend they are offended that I, 10 years ago, made a joke on the internet. They're not offended by their local drug dealers. They're not offended by murderers. They're not offended by Epstein. They're not offended by Gaza. They're not offended by all the people who are dying in Ukraine. They're offended by my joke from 10 years ago. And that's the only thing that truly bothers them. And it's definitely because they are morally perfect people. These people, as they jerk off to porn, as they lie, cheat, steal, like every human does, is offended by my joke. And it has nothing to do with a deep, seething jealousy. Anybody who believes that is a fool. These people are jealous of me. It is obvious, and it feels great. All the days where the internet erupts with my old jokes are the best days of my life. I make more money. I get more email signups. I get more impressions. I feel fantastic. The only thing that would bother me is people not talking about me. But they can't help it because I make them envious. It is seething jealousy disguised as virtue. And it is so obvious. It is so obvious.
Dude, I am loving this right now, bro. I am loving this. He's speaking 100% facts. 100% facts. Charleston White took the same route that he's talking about right now. Charleston White done took the same damn route that Andrew is describing right now. So really, if anybody I'm sure Charleston's probably heard him a few times before. I doubt he heard this specific stream. But if he ever got any game from listening to Andrew Tate, I'm pretty sure it would be what he's doing now and the way he got famous was by making people hate him by way of jealousy and envy and keeping his name popping by being the villain, pretty much. Making people jealous of him, making people hate him, making people be envious of him, and keep them talking about him. That is 100% facts.
Let me give you an example. You buy a Lambo. You get rich, you buy a Lambo. And a guy says to you, one of them stupid cars. I wouldn't buy one of them. They're impractical. I prefer just a normal car. He is lying. You know he's lying. He can't afford one. He is jealous. And he's pretending a Toyota is better than a Lambo because he can't afford what you have. Jealousy. And he's pretending he's a moral person who doesn't want to show off. Which again is a lie.
Every man deep down wants to show off, wants people to look at him and be like, damn, look at that dude. Not in a gay way, but like, dude, that dude's famous, or he's Master Kane, or whatever the case may be, Like, most, if not all, dudes want to be acknowledged and respected. And when I say respected, I don't mean like people opening the door for you, but respected as in like you are a high-end individual in society and people know you wherever you go. That type of respected.
False virtue hidden behind seething jealousy. And people are jealous of me for a lot of reasons. One of them is my strength. If I was fat or weak, they would not be jealous of me, but they can't stand the fact that I'm rich and I'm famous and I'm important and I'm adored. And on top of that all, I'm big and I can beat the out of them. They can't stand losing so brutally at the game of life. They can't stand having a guy who could kick their ass, who's more famous than them, who's smarter than them, more well-known than them, richer than they'll ever be. It bothers them to their core. No man likes to lose on that level. I was the most Googled man on the planet. Do you have any idea how much energy that is? How else could I possibly beat a criminal case in the most corrupt country in Europe without all of this energy? And we can analyze this as professionals from an outside perspective. Let's pretend you don't agree with or believe in anything I'm telling you. Then we can analyze this from a very logical standpoint. I'm trying to win the hardest possible difficulty in a criminal case. Corrupt prosecutor, corrupt country. Matrix attack setup, global notoriety. Hardest mode, hardest version of a criminal case. If nobody talked about me or hated on me, I would be frustrated at the fact I have to go to court. It would be a boring inconvenience. But when all of my haters are posting how much they hope I go to jail, that makes me turn my A game on.
And it puts a smile on your face too, for whatever reason. It just does. It just puts a smile on your face.
That makes me think, everyone's still interested in this. Let me be funny on the way into court. Let me be funny on the way out. Let me get the whole news talking about me. Let me crack jokes in the court so the judge is smiling. Let me make the judge laugh. Because we all know I'm hilarious. Their hate helps me.
It is.
Even if you don't believe in the electromagnetic forces, even if you don't believe in those things, their hate helps me win. I need them to hate me. But they won't hate me if they're not envious of me. How many criminal cases are there currently on the planet? Endless.
Man, you ain't even lying. They ain't gonna hate you if they're not envious of you, and if you have no reason for them to be envious of you, they're not. They're just gonna ignore you and treat you like the next person, the next regular person. So yeah, man, that was your boy Andrew Tate speaking facts. That was your boy Jesse on Fire speaking on this whole USAID thing, and your boy FitX Fearless talking to that 21-year-old kid who's afraid to leave mom and dad's house even though he has $200K saved up. Yeah, this has been a very eye-opening, developing, and interesting live, to say the least. So make sure to share with your friends, your families, movies, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else. I'm going to get this outro put up, and I'm going to bounce. Deuces.
Hey, it was a fun tour, going out here and all this shit, all over fucking USA, and I'm done with all this shit. I'm cool off all this fucking talking shit. I got a whole team to represent. I don't want to do none of this. I never did want to do any of it. Fuck this nigga and fuck his team, bro. I'm out. I gotta go. Square up with yourself, motherfucker.